Welcome to हमारा brand new show
Wheels of Fortune!
Puzzles, prizes और पैसा।
ये सिर्फ एक व्हील नहीं है, पैसों की चक्की। 1 रुपए से लेकर 1 करोड़ की प्राइज मनी है। पहला अक्षर मुझे दीजिए।
S.
ये सोनी को लूट के जाएगा।
पैसा ही पैसा होगा।
पैसा ही पैसा होगा।
Wheel of Fortune 27 जनवरी से Sony Entertainment Television और Sony Live पर।
Okay, let's move to also another legend of the game here in India, Rohan. I mean, what an achievement and a long career that he's had. Your first and last partner as well. But these stats, I mean, they're just so special.
I don't know what's more impressive, winning, being the oldest one to win a Grand Slam doubles champion at the age of 43 or being number 1 in the world at 43. Because for all of us who've known Rohan for, as many decades now, really, that we've known him, he's one of those guys that always puts his best foot forward. He's one of those guys that gives himself a chance. He got into the tour, he found his way in, and, before you knew it, he was playing at the highest level. But for some reason or the other, the men's doubles title was elusive.
Yes, I think that if you ask me what was a bigger achievement, I think at 43 to be number 1. And the reason I say that is because regardless of whether he would have won that slam or not, him becoming number 1 shows consistency at that level. To become number 1, it doesn't happen over
season.
1 week or 2 weeks, right? You have to put in that effort and have consistent results at the highest of high, tournaments and slams the entire year. And I think that is more impressive at 43 because a lot of people can have a flash in the pan and win one. But the fact that you are number 1 and you win a Grand Slam at the same time, I can tell you with experience that it is very, very hard to do because it takes so much of commitment, so much because it's. I always say this, it's easier to get to number 1 than stay number 1. And he stayed there for, some time. He won a Grand Slam while that happened. Yeah. So for me, that is very, very impressive. Shows fitness, shows how he kind of rediscovered himself. And Rohan was one of those people who didn't make a jump in 1 year. He stayed with it. He stayed under the shadows of Leander and Mahesh for a long time.
Very long
in the
time.
men's doubles. And then over the years, he built that respect within the community, within the tennis world. And then he showed the results. And then, boom, it was the big ones that came later on in his career.
Yeah, which is...
Yeah, I mean, 2010 is the first time I remember seeing Bopes out there. We played Davis Cup together all the time. And 2010, I think, finals of the US Open. With Essam, with Essam losing 6-6 to the Bryans, I think that was the first, first real sign for the Indians that hey, there is somebody else outside Leander and Mahesh. And Rohan, by the way, was not playing doubles in the Davis Cup team; he was playing singles back then. So, from there, again, 14 years later, to come out and give him, I mean, yes, he did win, a Roland Garros with Dabrowski, 2017, I believe. But 18, maybe 18, but the whole point was everybody was wondering when is Rohan going to put himself in that mix to win a men's doubles major, because that's pretty much the only thing that was missing. And for him to do it the way he did it, in Australia with an Australian partner, and at that age, and then to get to number 1 in the world, I think it's for me Rohan Resilience Bopanna. I mean, that's the story because he's had surgeries, he's had injuries. All sorts of problems, left the game for a while. I mean, the bicep tendon surgery was before he actually made it on the tour, before he was and those are times.
Surgery to have.
Those are times where in your head you're thinking a lot of times, am I really, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it out of this?
Am I cut out for this? You start questioning everything.
And the doubt before he's actually made it. And one of the things I think anybody who's been a part of Indian tennis will be able to tell you this, that with Rohan, he's a proper friend to every single person who's on the tour. He's a proper friend. He's a mentor. He's a guide. Him and I have been friends for a very long time. But one of the things that he did more than a lot of us, maybe myself included, is he was always there for the person when they first came on the tour. And as that guy who became #1 in the world, who won majors for India, for himself, and was flying the Indian flag very high and very proudly and very in a very classy manner. I think it's one of those things that whenever you're out there playing a tournament and Bopes is in the draw, I guarantee you he's watching, unless he's playing a match himself. And in that sense, he's been a big brother to a lot of people.
Sania, I mean, this career that he has had, it's such a legacy that he's left behind for so many young Indians to look up to and aspire to have such an illustrious career.
Yes, I mean, a young boy from Coorg, from a coffee estate, dreaming of one day playing Wimbledon, playing all these big Grand Slams, playing Australian Open, winning, becoming #1 in the world, was something that I think him and his father and his parents saw this dream from this, small town of Coorg. And it just goes to show you what commitment and sacrifice and just resilience can do, like Som said. So I just feel that, Rohan is a great example of somebody who, perseveres, is somebody who keeps going no matter how many setbacks you have, who keeps going and keeps reinventing himself. He started having knee issues. He found yoga, and then he was like, that's what really helps me. So he kind of reinvented that. He said his knees, his body feels so much better with the flexibility. Yeah, so it's just about wanting to do that as well.
And talking about reinventing, I think everybody over here who's watched Rohan, his whole game revolved around that massive serve. When he first came out, he was serving and volleying. Then he realized, well, guess what? Doubles changed. Not just doubles has changed. I have changed. Yeah. I'm not as fast as I used to be, and that's an easy thing to fight. But he stopped serving and volleying. Serve and volley became a surprise play. He was so consistent from the back. He was beating singles players from the back.
And also for most of his life, including with me, he played from the backhand side of the court. And then by the end of his career, he was playing from the forehand side of the court. I mean, he completely changed his side, which is so difficult to do if you're not ready to accept change, you're not ready to improve, if you're just so, rigid about the fact that, no, this is my side and I'm going to play just this side. So the fact that he was ready to adapt, I think, is the reason that he had so much success, because he was ready to change according to the demands of the sport, according to the demands of his body, and he did all of that with pure class. There's very few people on the tour, or maybe nobody, who will have anything bad to say about Rohan Bopanna. I mean, everybody has a lot of respect for him, but he's also a super chill guy. He's a super chill guy.
Very stress-free. Yeah. I mean, the number of times I've met the guy and I said, hey, man, Masters final coming up next week. He's like, yeah, okay, I'll do well in the next one, or something, I'll do well in the next one. And when it came to tennis, and when it came to, just managing his own career, completely stress-free, and I think a lot for the young generation to look up to.
Oh, you guys are just serving gold over here. I love it. Flashing back the memories. It's so nice.